Alright, so this would be my second to last video. Not forever, but, second to last video, for now at least, on the annoying thing of my video being taken down, of me reacting to the third episode of Season 1 of Hazbin Hotel, which, as I mentioned before, it was both, I both tried, fighting against the claim and whatnot, to try to help see, to help protect fair use, but unfortunately I got a copyright strike. Thankfully, I've already completed the copyright school thing that YouTube does, and I have been, just trying to, negotiate with what I can do. So, effectively, I contacted the content claimant to hopefully, figure out, how, if they could remove the copyright strike, and then, I set at a bare minimum compromise is this. Since what I want is my video to be no longer copyright striked, but heavily copyright claimed, which, is usually how most of my reactions tend to be. And I just hope that, effectively, that if not for that bare minimum thing, I'm more than happy to have the copyright strike being dropped and then deleting the video and then never, placing up or trying to re-upload my video ever again to it, which I have sent a lengthy document, just document to contact the claimant, just to figure out about stuff for the copyright stuff, although, knowing as it is, I am more than willing to agree to the bare minimum compromise, as I said, where strike gets removed, and then I delete the video, never try re-uploading it, or ever again. So, that's more than fine with me. I'm perfectly fine with that, although I just want the strike removed because, oh boy, the strike is annoying and especially a scary thing to deal with, especially if you're someone like me who doesn't want my identity out. Although, granted, if you paid enough attention to my videos, you'll probably figure out, the identity of who owns the computer, although it's quite easy, but I'm just saying, like, I don't want anything further out other than what I already have released out. So I know it's easy for people to think that just because I'm doing a screen recorded reaction with no face cam doesn't mean that I'm purposely trying to infringe on copyright, as since I've mentioned in my email to them like that I am a novice when it comes to reacting and figuring out the copyright laws on YouTube, because YouTube engagement of copyright laws happens to flip flop between, whether or not if reacting to a full video, which I've seen people do, even with no like screen covering and whatnot, is perfectly fine for some YouTube channels. However, like for some other channels, it's perfectly not fine. So, unless if there's something going on in the background that I'm unaware of, like most of the stuff that I've seen happens to be, kind of sort of targeted in some kind of way towards people like me who are, small time reaction YouTube channels that use, you know, uh, that just use screen recording because it's easier and also you don't want your identity out. Perfectly understandable, in my opinion. Although, as I mentioned before, I've set out that letter, and, well, by letter I mean email, so if they ever get back to me on it, I'm hoping that they at least agree to the bare minimum compromise where, where I get my I get the copyright strike removed, and I never attempt to upload any more videos regarding Hazbin Hotel, unfortunately, because that's one of my favorite series to react to, and yeah, it seems like I can no longer do so for that at the current moment, or hopefully, or if that I've done my right amount of convincing, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not exactly the best reactor. No one is, but like I'm not purposely all just remaining on reactions for my channel. It's just something that I tend to do. Like just in case if I'm, just bored or something, but I don't want, people to like copyright strike me because if they think I'm doing it maliciously, which I'm not. And hopefully just understand that, yeah, I'm a novice, I'm not experienced in this, and I'm more than willing to comply with them removing that strike and me removing the video to never upload it again. Which I understand is probably a scary thing for them to follow. However, what I didn't tell y'all was that all throughout this, like, and I saw what they wanted me to do with just trying to cut out all of the stuff, which, by the way, if I cut out all the things that they wanted me to do, it would have left this video to be extremely disjointed and only 12 minutes long, and almost no sense of coherency where my commentary begins and where it ends, since it would just keep cutting in and out of certain areas, changing up the entire scene and what I'm saying, sometimes straight up into the middle of what I'm talking about, and then it becomes confusing. So that's why I've been trying to fight against it. However, I'm more than willing to comply with the strike or whatever the owner says, because I've sent an email out to them shortly before I began recording a video. Although this is not to tarnish the owner or anything, it's like I understand why people want copyright protection for their stuff, although I don't see it often being used against primary reaction channels, which happen to do reacting to stuff on a daily basis. Granted, some are better at removing content than others and transforming it better than others, but even still, then I've seen other channels do what I do and still be fine, although they were a little bit larger than me, and had a face cam, but still did the same exact thing. So I don't understand. I mean, I saying on why I'm the one that gets targeted by this stuff, so it is a bit annoying. However, I'm more than willing to compromise on that bare minimum deal since I already did the copyrights ruled, like the strike would expire, after 90 days. However, I do want to just hopefully get it taken from copyright strike just into copyright claimed and visible, but unmonetizable, because those that don't know, I am not able to really earn money on YouTube. Well, I mean, I can, but the thing is that I don't meet any of the requirements that YouTube wants me to have for that, so it's like I can if I eventually reach to that point where I can. Also, I will mention that it should mention that I also am going to begin talking about other stuff on the channel lately, but as of the moment, I'm next throughout the week. Throughout next week, I'm going to be prepping myself for college since, I'm heading back to college. on the 22nd of August, which is next Friday, and just have to do that. But overall, I just wanted to begin just saying, all the stuff with what's going on with my reactionary stuff, which unfortunately I will be, keeping this stuff, down for the time being, since I know some people like whenever I react to stuff, although I wouldn't really necessarily say that, that I would, although it gets annoying at times when, stuff like this happens, and sometimes this happens like out of random, so that's why I don't really tend to react to some series. Even though I want to desperately, and I still have the original video file of it, although I will always compromise to never post it again, so I mean, the video is there, although I won't be able to post it due to copyright infringement, and I just don't want to, have another copyright strike being given to me, which is kind of a thing. So yeah, I'm hoping that the reason why the copyright strike was given was because it was meant to be as a mistaken thing, but if it's a valid one, I told you guys that I would take that simple route of just deleting the video. If they remove the strike first, then I'll delete the video, and then never upload like that video file ever again. And then that seems to be more of a favorable thing for some of these places. although it does get annoying when stuff like this happens, so until I see what the copyright owner responds with from the email that I sent, I want to know what the decision is. Although I'm hoping that they get to me soon, so that way I can solve this issue sooner, and not have everything that I was working on, kind of be left up to not really being understood, because I will admit, it's like I do this purely for myself, like for my YouTube channel, not for any monetary gain, because I'll admit, and I'll even show that, oh, look, I have at least eligible stuff I have over 500 subscribers. I have over free video uploads per 90 days. However, my public watch hours are nowhere near the amount where I could get monetized if I can consistently keep up 3,000 views per year, which I won't be able to. And honestly, I don't want to also begin adding like ads and stuff onto my channel, since I always find that annoying and I don't want to. But like, I'm not able to do this stuff for money, so that's why I'm kind of annoyed at this. I understand the reason why they do it. It's just that it's just extremely annoying when the copyright system on YouTube can be exploited for so many different reasons. But not suggesting that it is being exploited. I'm just suggesting that that maybe I'm just too unaware of recent copyright changes on YouTube, since I'll be honest, some of that stuff changes on a dime with what's allowed. So it could be just new changes that I was unaware of, or it could just be smaller stuff that decides to get bigger precedence in it. Anyways, I'm sorry for talking for so much about this, since since this has been the big thing for me, like for the past near a week or so, or even more than a week. So it's just more something that's been further on my mind, and just something that I wanted to address with y'all, so that way y'all don't think that I'm purposely trying to not upload 3 times per week, which I do so as like a bare minimum for myself, just because I can. Anyways, I'll see y'all later. And once again, this will be my second to last video on this until I finally receive a decision from effectively what the person is going to respond with. Because once they respond to my email, then I get to hopefully see if they come to that compromise or change it to a copyright claim, and just have the video be unseen, and then I could just delete the video while it's copyright claim, so that way that stuff is settled. But till then, I will not mention this until I get that response. Anyways, I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.